Hey you guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and I am here for another collection video, and this collection video will be for the band Black Sabbath. Now, I do think Black Sabbath is really a necessity for any metalhead, considering that the impact that they had, and you could argue that they're the first heavy metal band to ever exist. And yeah, I'd probably get behind that statement too. So yeah, definitely a must. So yeah, I'll be showing you guys everything that I got in regards of Black Sabbath. We're gonna start off with the CDs, then the vinyl, and then the merch I got. So with that said, we'll start off with the CDs, and we'll also start off with the compilation albums that I have, because I do have two compilation albums. And the first one I got is We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. This was actually my first Black Sabbath thing that I've ever got. My first Black Sabbath CD, and yeah, it's a compilation with all their hits on it. Hits from like their first 6 albums, maybe, something like that. Next up, we got the Dio Years, which is the other compilation album that I had. This album, or this compilation album has, of course, the hits with Dio on vocals. Really great stuff here. Now let's get into the actual studio albums by Black Sabbath. First up, we got the self-titled debut. Really great album, and great debut, of course. And then we got Paranoid, which is, of course, a classic, and I am a little torn on which album I like more, the self-titled or Paranoid, because they're both great albums. And yeah, I mean, if you're a Black Sabbath fan and you don't own this album, you need to get it right now. But yeah, great album. Next up, we got Master of Reality, which might be my favorite Black Sabbath album, but that's really hard to decide. Yeah, this is the only Black Sabbath CD that I have that's like that I don't have the reissue for, the 2016 reissue. That's something I might consider, and I should consider it, especially since this is my favorite Black Sabbath album. But yeah, if you're a Black Sabbath fan and you don't have this album, definitely go pick it up. And if you're just a metalhead in general, you should definitely check this one out. Master of Reality is just a great album. Next up, we got Volume 4, which if I'm not mistaken, this album was initially supposed to be called Snowblind. But yeah, it's a good album, but it's not one of their best. Next up, we got Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Again, fantastic album. Probably better than Volume 4, but I don't know if I would go as far to say that yet. Sometimes I am a little torn about the two, but yeah, great album. And then we got Sabotage, which is, I do have this album, in the jewel case original. Probably my second favorite Black Sabbath album, but that's really hard to decide. Great album. I also have another copy of Sabotage, the 2016 reissue Digipack. Again, it's a great album. And then we got Technical Ecstasy, which I think is actually a pretty underrated album. It's different, but it is good. Never Say Die. Again, underrated Black Sabbath album. It's pretty good. And now we got The Mob Rules, which was one of the first Black Sabbath albums with Dio. And I do like the Black Sabbath era with Dio, of course. This is a great album. And then Dehumanizer, which is another album with Dio on vocals. Fantastic album. If you're someone who's not too crazy about Ozzy's vocals, I think this is an album that you're going to want to check out, because Dio's vocal work on this album really is spectacular. But I do like both vocalists. Next up, and last but not least for my CDs of Black Sabbath, we got the most recent Black Sabbath album. It actually ended up being the final album that the band has ever put out. And of course, it showed the return of Ozzy. This was in that era. 13. pretty good album, but it's nothing mind-blowing, but it is pretty good for a final album. Okay, so let's move on to the one Black Sabbath vinyl that I got. Yeah, I do have only one Black Sabbath vinyl on, yeah, so this is the only one that I got. Master of Reality. I actually believe this is the original, because can't really see the title of the album. So yeah. Of course, this is a fantastic album. And now let's move on to the one shirt that I have, and that would be this, the Volume 4 tour. Really nice shirt. And so that's about it for my Black Sabbath collection, guys. Let me know what you guys think of my collection. And is there anything in my collection that you are looking to pick up sometime? Yeah, Black Sabbath, definitely a phenomenal band. Can't go wrong with them. Just let me know your thoughts. So thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, and take care.